brought to you by the Camping Post.
Hey folks, thanks for joining me on the Camping Post. Today we're going to talk a little bit about camping cookware. Right now I'm in our Intel Dawn Rover, but we use this in the camper as well as when we go tent camping. For a number of years I pretty much used the same camping gear that I had when I was a youngster in the Boy Scouts many moons ago, which was a combination of mess kits with just a top frying pan and a bottom frying pan and a little pot to boil water in with your little cup. And I had many of those. Just felt that if it wasn't broke, don't fix it. But once we started trying to cook more meals, more family meals, it just wasn't really enough. They didn't heat up very well. They weren't very large. Plus they took up a lot of space in our camping kitchen bin. So we usually had to take more stuff than we really needed to. So I went on a mission to find something better that would be smaller, compact, and have everything we need. I did a lot of searching, and I ended up running across the GSI series of cookware. There was the Pinnacle and the BUGABOO. I kind of looked those up and then saw how much they were, kind of put it on the back burner a little while, came back to it, looked at them again. I eventually went with this Pinnacle camp set. It seems like the biggest difference in reading a lot of the reviews and what's on the GSI website is that the Pinnacle set has better heat distribution, is more scratch resistant, and it seems like the biggest difference was that it had 3 layers of Teflon, whereas the BUGABOO only had 2. And I think maybe the coatings were a little bit different. The BUGABOO has a coating. I don't know if this is a coating or what, but it's more of a matte finish. And I like gray, as you can probably tell by my outfit, so I just went with the gray. It was really only a difference of about 30 bucks, so it really wasn't that much more to spend for the risk. I'm hoping that this kit will last us a long time. So let's take a look and see what's in this. There's a little latch here on top that holds all this kit inside what they call the wash basin here. So you just take that off. We'll just peel that off. Now, I know they say this is a wash basin, and that might be all well and good for maybe sort of backpack camping or something like that, but I can't imagine, I don't really know how you would wash your pots in here, so it didn't really do much for us. So what I do with this, especially when we're tent camping, is I take this, hook it back up, put a carabiner on this, and that allows me to hang it from our pop-up shelter or a tree or something like that. And then typically what I'll do is put flashlights, keys, wallets, bug spray, all those little items that you want to have accessible and you don't want to hunt for. That way we kind of know where all of those things are. And it gives us a place to deposit all those things to keep them in one place. On the top here, you can see on the outside here, this is where the little latches go for your pot handles. The first piece is the frying pan, which is decent size, enough to saute vegetables, cook eggs, things like that. We didn't feel that this was big enough to meet all of our needs, so I'll get into what we did for that a little bit later here. You get a top for your large pot. Both of these tops have little strainer holes in it, so you can simply just, when you're cooking pasta or something like that, you can just pour your water right out. You don't need a separate strainer. So that was another thing that we don't have to bring with us, is another additional strainer for things like that. Top for the smaller pot. And then inside here are the cups and bowls. As you can see, they kind of fit in like pie pieces. I know those don't really look like bowls, but we'll pop one open here in a minute and you can kind of see how that works. So you got 4 cups and bowls, and they're all color coded. which is kind of nice because everyone in the family each person can pick a color. That way you know whose is whose, and you don't have to wonder whose drink is whose. So this is the 2-liter pot, which I feel is pretty substantial for most things. We do a lot of beans, rice, all that kind of stuff can go in here. Below that, we've got our plates, and then we've also got at the bottom here our 3-liter pot, which I feel is fairly substantial. Now, all of this cookware is aluminum, so it's fairly lightweight. And it's got the little ridges on the bottom. I don't know if that helps with heat dissipation or whatnot, but I really like this matte finish. We don't do cook on fire, so you can kind of see the pots will stand up to, you know, your standard stove without getting a bunch of burn marks on them. And what I like about all this cookware is it is lightweight, and when we do cook on it, it takes very little time for water to heat up or anything. It cooks evenly, so the heat is distributed evenly across the bottom. I don't get like burnt areas, and the Teflon works really well. I don't have anything sticking to these pots. Again, here's your plates, color coded, just like the cups. We don't really use these much as plates. As you can see, they're kind of small. We have some larger metal plates that we bring that we use on the regular. Plates don't take up all that much space. But what we will typically use these for is if we have a bunch of, you know, if we're making tacos or something, we put our toppings, lettuce and tomatoes and things like that out on these and kind of use that as a buffet so we don't have to set it on the table. So it works out kind of nice. They don't take up much space. Getting back to our cups, these are pretty nice. I didn't think I would be able to get down with this triangular design just because it seems so awkward. I'm used to Contigos, but like a Contigo, it does have a top, which is kind of nice. So if you've got coffee or hot chocolate or tea or something in there, you're less likely to spill it. There's 2 holes, so you got a hole that you can sip out of, and these actually fit in your hand pretty well. I thought it would be odd being triangular and not round. And so you've got a hole to sip out of, and then there's a hole to let air in so that the liquid comes out, which works out rather well. You got a top so you don't spill. But these are your cups and bowls, so these separate, and this would be what is considered your bowl. Again, I wasn't sure about this design, but it works well for, you know, oatmeal, mac and cheese, anything you want to put in there. It's deep enough that you can hold enough in there that's meal sized. The inside is basically your cup, and it does have this little insulated wrap. So if you're gonna put coffee or hot tea or something in there, it kind of keeps you from burning your hands. So that's kind of nice. The other thing that comes with this kit is one of the GSI pot handles. It's just hidden in one of the cups when you get it, and those just fold out just like so. There's a little lever here, so when you want to collapse it, you just go like that and collapse it. Okay, so this is what you use to grab your pots. You just simply slide it. Sometimes it does take a little bit to get it on there. I always forget you got to push the button to get it to slide on there. Let go of that button, make sure it's locked in place, and then you've got your little pot handle. I have noticed that if you do have it on a hot flame, these can tend to get hot. They don't get real hot, so a lot of times I'll just keep the handle off, loose, until I need to get my pot and take it or move it off of the cooking area. What I will suggest though is that they only give you one, so I suggest ordering another one so that you can have 2 pots going, or a pot in the frying pan. Especially if you have multiple people cooking, it's really handy because you're not wondering who's run off with your pot handle. Plus, they look pretty boss. They look pretty sturdy. I've used the ones that are a clasp, more like pliers. I like that these snap on and lock on, so you don't really have to worry about it coming off on you. So other than that, we really like this kit so far. We've been using it for a few months now. I don't really have any issues. And again, cooking dinners, cooking meals, breakfast, lunch and dinner, it's super easy. These things heat up really quick. We also use these with a Camp Chef Everest 2X gas stove, which puts off really great heat. So that also helps to cut our cook time down, which is really a relief to me, because I really felt like on camping trips we would almost spend most of our time cooking meals and cleaning up after meals, and we didn't have as much free time to kind of roam around. So now we're kind of in and out on our meals, except we're cooking all sorts of things. We've upped the game a little bit, so I like these a lot. To get back to the frying pan though, like I said, this is pretty substantial. It's adequate for most things, but when it comes to pancakes, we found that this didn't give us enough real estate to cook a lot of pancakes. So that took a little bit longer. So we were kind of on a mission to find something that's maybe square or rectangular. So we found this GSI frying pan. This is the BUGABOO frying pan. Of course, we went with the Pinnacle. I don't know if they have a Pinnacle style frying pan. So I just got this to test it out, because mostly we were looking at the size. And this is a real good size. Like, we could fit 2 of these on our Camp Everest 2X stove, and it would pretty much take up all of that cooking area. And I did find that the heat gets evenly distributed on here. So when you're cooking pancakes, they all cook evenly as we do it. It's got a nice little flip out handle. All I do is flip it out, squeeze it, and then it locks in place. As you can see here, it's not going anywhere. If you want to unlock it, squeeze it again, put it back in. And this didn't really add take up too much space in our kitchen bin. So pretty much all of our Pinnacle cookware, once it's all packed away, and this fits in our main kitchen bin, nice and easy, compact. Whereas before we used to have to fit pots and pans in there, as well as take additional bags. So now we have one kitchen bin. When we pull up the campsite, we pull it out. We've got everything we need in here to cook with. And then you just need some basic utensils. As far as the utensils go, the Pinnacle cookware says you can use metal utensils. However, we just want to prolong the longevity of these pots and pans, so we're primarily going to stick to wood, plastic, or silicone. You can use metal if you want, according to what the GSI site says, but we're going to take it safe so that hopefully these last us for many years to come. If you got any questions or comments, put them down below. We'll also have links to all these products in our description. And thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. Again, the reason we do this is to just share what we like or don't like about things, in the hopes that it can help someone save some time in doing their research. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.
Don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications.